Good morning everybody over on YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joesephyr and welcome to a bit of a weird video for me. It's a hybridization of Ignis's pulls, or not pulls, or whatever we're going to do with that, and a should you pull video for him, because I hadn't made a should you pull video for Ignis yet, on the back of the fact that I didn't want to kind of work off of conjecture. Things are like prone to being changed, as is evident by the fact that this banner is being changed and has Kuja in it instead of Noctis. So, you know, instead of that, we're going to talk about Ignis, what sort of things to expect from him, why you should or shouldn't pull from him, and instead of the regular would you pull, we have a chat down there that might actually be able to help you guys decide as well. So if that's all stuff that interests you, then stay tuned and keep on watching. Don't forget to check out all of my social media links in the description box below. Of course, the Alexander painting giveaway has now ended. So within the next week, I will be announcing a winner for that. Thank you to every one of you that's entered that. I really did enjoy making that, and I hope that you guys liked the look of it, and I may well do something like it again because the response from it has been absolutely astronomical, so thank you all very, very much for doing that. With regards to Patreon, I always shout out one of my patrons every time I release a video, and today that person is going to be Nalthian, who has been on my Patreon for quite some time and is an Auron fan. Now, if you would like benefits such as having a title card made for you to go into my credits at the end of every video, being a part of Would You Pull video, or like portions of my Should You Pull videos, behind the scenes footage, all sorts of extra stuff, then perhaps you might like to consider becoming a patron yourself. Now let's take a look at what we have from Ignis, shall we? So taking a look at Ignis, if you haven't used him before, he is a very odd character. He's very support oriented. He's got a lot going for him in the sense of the sort of coverage that he provides, but he's very well known for like using a lot of turns up in a row. Now, the banner itself, as you could see from what we saw before, is similar to that of Aerith's and Sarah's before. So you have Ignis's full kit, you have Garland's burst, and you have everyone else's kit as well, but without their LDs. Now, these banners tend to hate me periodically, and obviously I haven't done any of my pulls for this yet. Whether I'm going to or not, you'll have to wait and see. But historically, these banners have not been kind to me. Now, as I said, with Ignis, Ignis doesn't have a rework or anything like that. So with Ignis, you get Regroup, which is a AoE Brave recovery, HP recovery, and it also gives him a buff that allows him to make sure that you've got lots going on when it comes to anything health related. You've got Brave Overflow, attack power. And then, but the main thing with him is his Quick Recipe. Now, Quick Recipe unlocks two other abilities for him. It changed his bravery and HP attacks into Memory Lane Pastry and Papa Bird and Baby Bowl. Now, Memory Lane Pastry is noteworthy because it has access to debuff evasion, and it also gives you defensive buffs and changes his bravery and HP attacks again, so that you get bravery batteries off of them, and then you get it's just more support oriented. Whereas Papa Bird and Baby Bowl is more offense oriented and gives you attack and Brave Overflow, and changed it so that his HP plus attack does actually do damage. Now, you will have to forgive me if I take a little while scrolling through things because I'm doing this live as opposed to doing this the normal way. Now, Overwhelm is a very interesting attack as well because that's his EX attack. What it does is it makes it so that he reconverts, similar to Onion Knight's LD, he changes the turn order for his other party members to go right after him, and he does HP, like 3 HP attacks equal to each party member's current bravery. So he does do a decent amount of damage, but nothing crazy by today's standards. And he does also change the turn order, which is fantastic. And he also starts with all of his buffs, makes it so that his HP attack and HP and bravery attack pluses are stronger from what you had before. And then you get access to slightly more you can start the game with his cooking abilities unlocked straight away. Now his LD. Now, his LD is actually a lot more simple than a lot of the rest of his kit. This is because he basically gains a lot of bravery and does a AoE Brave HP attack, and then which does 100% AoE damage. But he also enhances himself by giving himself Sage Fire and also giving himself Enhance and giving Sage Fire the debuff to all enemies. And then as long as Enhance is on, he inflicts Sage Fire whenever he attacks something. Now, Enhancement raises party attack, raises elemental weakness damage, and a Brave Overflow of both types, and also enchants the party for fire, which is quite interesting. And then Sage Fire is a poison damage, increases HP damage taken by 10%, so that's always very valuable, and also Imperils Fire, so it changes Ignis into a Enchant Imperil character that also has access to all of the other stuff like debuff evasion, and like battery, HP healing, etc. It's really nice stuff. However, Ignis is one of these characters that likes to take a lot of turns up when he's doing anything, really, and that's not ideal in the Age of Lufenia. So if you're taking a turn using using his ability, then his cooking, then attacking, that's 3 turns you've taken up using just Ignis getting himself ready. But having access to his Sage Fire, his enhancements, he does provide some very strong auras for the party in general. Now, the other reason that I do like Ignis a lot as well is his cool abilities. Now, Regroup and Sage Fire as cool abilities is very handy, because Regroup being just a nice heal is fantastic. We like that. Very useful. But Sage Fire has the party fire enchant and the Sage Fire ability on it as well. So that means you're getting HP damage plus, the elemental weakness damage plus from the cool effect, and then you're also getting like Enchant Imperil in one shot. So it's actually very, very nice. So I wouldn't write Ignis off at all, because his cool ability is one of those high-end ones that you're probably going to want at some point. Now, he does come back with on a later banner with X-Death's Batch, and he comes on a banner with Lion and X-Death's Burst. Now, this is a banner that I was considering like saving for and thinking that I'd get it later, because I think that the Fire Enchant Imperil is going to be much more useful later down the line than it is right now. It's still very good right now, don't get me wrong, but later on is when it will start to really come into its own. And then with his, when it comes to his high armor is a support keystone. Now, we all know how I feel about support keystone. You can take it or leave it. It is kind of handy, and if you're going to use Ignis a lot, chances are, as time progresses, you'll probably use him as a call more than you're going to use him in your main party. So I wouldn't recommend necessarily going straight in for this. But if you think you're going to use him in your main party, then that's fine too. So do I think that you should be pulling for Ignis? Now, I think that he's a great character to have. His call abilities are strong. He's an Enchant Imperiler for a rare element. Not many characters do fire, if any, other than Ignis, actually, other than like Lulu, who hasn't been used in a very long time. And he is a valuable character to have. But I also think that he is primarily going forward going to be used for his call ability rather than being used in your main party, because that call ability is very, very strong. So if you're the sort of person that doesn't like pulling for characters based on their call abilities, then maybe you shouldn't be pulling here. I'm of the opinion that I could do with having Ignis, but because I've just spent out loads on Garland's LD, I plan to ticket Faris, I plan to spend quite a lot of tickets on Faris. I'll probably drop a few tickets here, but nothing crazy. I would like to have him because I think he's very, very handy. I think he's useful. But I think that because he comes back on a banner I also plan on pulling on, I could do with it here. However, I could also do with any reason to be pulling on Garland's Burst, because I still really want Garland's Burst. But that's going to be it from here. Although before we go, while I'm pulling for these bits here, then let me know in the chat. Like, people are in the chat right now, chatting away, talking about Ignis. Would you pull on Ignis? Like, have you pulled on Ignis? Why would you pull on Ignis? Instead of going in with the Patreon thing, because this banner's kind of jumped me, unfortunately, then I'd like to hear from you guys. Like, so while I'm doing my free pulls, etc., if you let us all know what you're doing, what your plans are for Ignis, then that would be great. So, that being said, let's go in with these free pulls. This is a fairly not helpful banner to me. Like, yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, this. I think that this banner has had its day in the sun. Like, if you don't have Kudra or Noctis now, then don't go any further than the free pulls. If you have free pulls for it, then fantastic. Then don't worry about it. So, let's just do. I'm going to do my free pulls here first because I don't trust that I won't get a burst on the other one. So let's see how these goes. Free pull. Thinking about it. It's Blue Wolf. Of course it is. I'll spend a few tickets. I'm not going to go crazy. I honestly am at a point now where I just want to pull something, you know? Something easily would be nice. Ignis is a very popular character, so a lot of people will go in for him because they really like him. Yeah, that looks like one of my pulls. Right, so I guess I'll spend maybe 50 tickets. We'll see what 50 tickets does. But like I said, these banners have historically hated me, so I'm not holding out any hope. Oh! If you want to be nice to me, then I will take it. But it's one of those banners. Gold orbs don't necessarily mean anything. Don't mean anything. It could be anything, so let's not get excited. Oh, wow! Okay. Wow. Alright then. Sure. Thank you very much for that game. At last, I actually got something early. Oh my god. That takes the sting off of Garland a little bit. And, as a note, because I've pulled Ignis LD, that means that actually changed my plan slightly for when I was going to pull for him. I was originally going to pull for him with Lion, because that came out with X-Death. But now, because Lion, I like Lion, but she's never really a mandatory pull of any kind, I'm probably going to change banner now, and instead of pulling for Lion, I might pull for Kieran instead, because he genuinely gets really good when we get access to that banner with X-Death, so I might switch over and go and do pulls on Kieran instead of Lion, but honestly, I'm overjoyed at that. Like, that's the first time I've had luck like that in literal months. Like, I haven't had luck like that in a very long time, so I'm really happy about that. Not a character I was expecting for that to happen to, but that's going to be it. So, thank you very much for watching. I am going to be doing the Abyss over on here as well. I didn't do the first one because sadly I had to miss out because I was ill on that one, so I won't be doing a video on that. But stay tuned, and hopefully I will get a video out for that as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. Now, sadly, I didn't actually get the time to finish the Abyss completely on stream, so I don't have a Lufenia clear for you right now, because embarrassingly I got called away at the last second because I have an appointment that I need to keep. But I will be doing it on stream alongside Yang and Desh's Lost Chapter that I've spoken about and already released a video for. And I hope you guys have enjoyed my franticness trying to get a Should You Pull done live on stream. But I do actually have some comments from my Patreons for Would You Pull, so once again a massive thank you goes out to you for your comments. I don't have a poll for you sadly because normally I set those up a few days in advance, and this time around obviously we got jumped with this banner, so I don't have that for you. But I can give you a general sentiment by giving you a few more comments than I normally would instead. Now, a lot of people actually seemed like they are more inclined to pull for Ignis than perhaps I was, because in all honesty, if I hadn't got Ignis as quickly as I did, I probably wouldn't have gone that much further for him. Certainly not until I tried pulling for Yang and Faris first. But I do think that, you know, a lot of people seem to feel very strongly about there being a fire enchant in peril character. So players like Goose, players like Braggins, and Lars DFFOO, they all are using sort of gems or like wanting to go in pretty heavily for Ignis. So Goose here says, if Mogabyss taught us anything, it's the value of having an enchant in peril of every element. With lackluster fire options up until Varn's rework, it's hard to turn your nose up at Ignis, especially when he's a pretty nice support as well. And I do like maintain everything I've said about Ignis. Like, I think the fact that he likes to hog turns a lot and doesn't actually do an awful lot during his own turns is something that works against him. But I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth, and the fact that I got Ignis like pretty quickly for the first time in a very long time, I am not going to turn my nose up at that and be very thankful for it. And then Braggins also says, pulling with gems on this one is Ignis Call is not to be sniffed at. An overall good level support with healing and battery for days. Plus he cooks up a storm with his LD. He's fun to play with, and another peril enchant is always good to have in the bank. That call ability is the best thing about him, in my opinion. I said it earlier and I'll say it again, and that's the thing I'm really pleased at having access to. I know a lot of people don't tend to enjoy pulling for characters based on their call abilities, but as somebody who has used Jack, Gabranth and Hope numerous, like way more than I've used characters in my main party, and the number of people I've come across that have said, God, I wish I pulled for Jack. I think there is merit in pulling for characters for their cool abilities, and Ignis definitely fulfills that criteria, as does Faris when we get to her later on. There are people who aren't like going crazy for him, like Diotic, Armor Stevie, Cobalt Zork, who also originally not going to pull for him, but after reading up on what he does, decided might as well throw some tickets at him. Never could go wrong with a decent support unit. Which, yeah, I mean, if you've got tickets in surplus, go nuts. And then Armor Stevie says, I personally decided to use tickets on him. The only Imperil I have right now are Garnet and Rydia. So I personally feel having a character with an enchant Imperil with an LD would be helpful. This is very true. If you're a newer player, Ignis is very good. In fact, all of the banners surrounding Garland are very good. Garland himself is fantastic as a damage dealer. If you were to just pull in the batch of Garland's banners, you'd have a pretty well-rounded team and cool abilities to boot. So honestly, if you're a newer player, it's a fantastic set for you. And then Cobalt Zork says, Chocobros, but honestly it depends on what happens with Faris. And a lot of people, myself included, feel similarly to this. I was originally planning on skipping Ignis, like I was, but then I didn't get Garland's Burst when I wanted it from getting his LD, even though I pitied it. So I thought, it couldn't hurt to throw a few tickets at it when I know I really want Garland, and the same is probably going to apply to me when it comes to Yang, and then Faris I'm going to go quite heavily on. So hopefully we get it then, so we'll have to wait and see. But there are also people skipping Ignis as well, like JRPG fans, so skipping Ignis for now might come back with some tickets if Faris and Yang are nice to me. And I do think that, you know, there's nothing wrong with skipping Ignis either. Even if you don't go for him entirely, like I said, I was going to skip Ignis completely, but I will be very happy about the fact that I've got a new toy to play with. So the fact that Ignis is there at all is just a very, very positive thing, and I'm really looking forward to using him more in the future and finding ways to do so. So that's going to be all from today's video, and I do apologise for the slightly manic behaviour behind this particular video, but I wanted to bring you guys information on Ignis as best I could and as quickly as I could. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications, and let me know what you guys think of Ignis and his Lufenia that comes with the Abyss. And from what I know, it's just a carbon copy of Jack's Lufenia, so if you want to, you can always go back and watch my video on Jack, or honestly, it's not a particularly difficult one. I don't really know why they decided to pick Jack's Lufenia to be Ignis's one, but there we go. More resources is good. I am, again, not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So thank you again, and take care. Bye now.